Sine and cosine rule, part 2, the cosine rule.
In part 1 we looked at the sine rule. Here we'll be looking at the cosine rule. Remember, the cosine rule is used whenever you have a non-right angled triangle.
So if we have a triangle, the formula for the cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. In this format, it is used to find an unknown side. However, you can rearrange it as follows. So we will bring the a squared over to the other side. We will then divide b squared plus c squared minus a squared by 2bc. And that now gives us the cosine rule in a format in order to find a missing angle. Again, like the sine rule, these formula need to be learned in both formats. They're not given in the GCSE exam. So let's see how to use the rule. So here we have a triangle. Let's label it. So it's triangle ABC, so we have angle A, angle B and angle C. And then we label the sides, so opposite angle C is side C, opposite angle B is side B, and opposite angle A is side A. So let's give the triangle some values. And we're trying to find A, because it's our unknown x. Now, to recognise when you use the cosine rule, you'll often use it when you have two sides and the angle between them, which is often referred to as the included angle. So as we can see, we have side C, side B and the included angle. And then we have to find the third side. So let's write down the formula. So we have side B and C, side B and C, and we have angle A, and it's the third side A that we're trying to find. It's by itself here. So first thing we will do is substitute in the values and then input all this into the calculator, which gives us 33.730. And we're not looking for a squared, but of course a, therefore we take the square root of 33.730, which gives us an answer of 5.81 metres to 3 significant figures.
If, however, the triangle was labelled differently, for example, we had it as triangle ACB, so this time it means that we're finding side C, not side A. We could either relabel the triangle and relabel this as side A, or alternatively, we could rewrite the formula. So instead of having the formula in this format, if we're finding side C, we would rewrite it as this. So first thing we do is we'd put the side that we're trying to find by itself on the left hand side, and as above we have the side and its corresponding angle on the other side of the formula. We would do the same with the big angle C. From here, instead of using B and C, we would write down side A and B, and then again, instead of using B and C in this part of the formula, we would write A and B in this part of the formula. Now, if the triangle had this side labelled as side B, and we were trying to find it, it was our unknown x, we would do the same thing with B. So instead of writing A there and big angle A there, we'd change that to small b, that to big B, and then we'd change these two letters as well, which would be C and A.
So in this example, we're going to try and find an unknown angle. So you can see here x is unknown, which is angle A. So we're going to try and find angle A. In the last example I mentioned, the way in which to recognise when to use the cosine rule is whenever you have two sides and an included angle and you're trying to find the third side. The other way to recognise when to use cosine rule is when you have all three sides, as in this example, and then you're trying to find one of the unknown angles. So first of all, let's write down the format for finding the angle. So we're trying to find angle A, so we substitute all our values. So that gives us cos A equals 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 15 squared divided by 2 times 8 times 10. If we put that all into our calculator, we get cos A is minus 0.38125. And to find the angle, you find the inverse cos of minus 0.38125 by pressing Shift cos and inputting minus 0.38125. And you get the answer of 112.4 degrees to 1 decimal place. However, as the angle is a large obtuse angle, you may want to just round to 3 significant figures. Now, as mentioned previously, if the triangle was labelled differently, for example, instead of being A, B, C, but C, A, B, instead of using cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC, you would change the letters in the formula. So we're trying to find angle C. So angle C is what we're trying to find. As you can see in the formula above, the angle that you're finding, its opposite side is subtracted, so that's why we put the C squared here. And then as you can see, the other two sides are slotted in here and here. So we have side C, so we're going to write down A squared and the B squared divided by the AB. Similarly, if we were trying to find angle B, this would be B, this would be B, and then we'd have your A and C here and A and C there. Now it's your turn to answer some questions. Pause the video and then try these. How did you get on? Here are the answers. If you answered any incorrectly, have a look back through the video and then have another go.